Releasing in Crossover Breakers, Raizeol is a new archetype of Fire, Thunder, and Light Pyro monsters that not only focus, but also lock themselves into XC summoning rank 4 monsters. Although they consist of powerful extenders and starters, the restrictive rank 4 pool is something they'll have to overcome. And the question is, are they strong enough to do so? Getting into the list, we begin with EX Raizeol, a light pyro monster that can special summon itself from your hand by sending an Xyz monster from the extra deck to the graveyard, but locks you into rank 4s for the rest of the turn. If it is normal or special summoned and you control no face-up monsters other than level or rank 4s, it can then add one Fire Thunder monster from your deck to your hand. Obviously, EX Raizeol is a great card, but it also sets a template for the rest of the deck. Every Raizeol monster is capable of special summoning itself, although they apply the same restriction, and most of them have a good second effect that helps generate card advantage, and we can see this trend continue with Sword Raizeol. This Fire Thunder monster can special summon itself from your hand if you control a Raizeol monster on your field or in your graveyard, and if it is normal special summon, can add one Light Pyro monster from your deck to your hand. Like EX Raizeol, Sword Raizeol is a great extender, and in a pinch it can also double as our normal summon. Although, we don't really want to do that if we can help it, as our ideal normal summon is Ice Raizeol. This Light Pyro monster can special summon itself from their hand by sending a card from your hand or field to the graveyard. If it is normal summon, it can special summon any Raizeol monster from the deck, except itself. Unlike our other monsters, Ice Raizeol's effect only triggers a normal summon, which means that although it can be an extender, we'll rarely want to use it as such, making this the ideal normal summon of the deck. As one monster that's better used for extension, Node Raizeol can be special summoned if you have an Xyz monster on your field or in your graveyard, and it can send a card from your hand or field to the graveyard to special summon a Raizeol monster from your graveyard with its effects negated. Lastly, we have Former Raizeol, the only monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, for some reason. It can special summon itself by shuffling a Raizeol monster from your hand or graveyard into your deck or extra deck, and once per turn, when it battles, it can raise its attack, which is cool. Finally, we round off our monsters with our hand traps, Maxi, Ash Blossom, and Effect Veil. We begin our spells and traps with our fail spell Raizeol Cross, a fail spell that comes with a restriction that we cannot XC summon monsters with the same name as a card we control. But don't worry, it makes up for this with two great effects. Firstly, it can target two Raizeol cards in your graveyard except itself to place them on the bottom of the deck in any order and draw a card, which is nice. More importantly, once per turn, when an opponent's activated monster effect resolves, you can detach one material from a Raizeol XC monster you control, and if you do, negate that effect. This obviously is a great effect, as not only is it an interruption, it can also help us play through hand traps by getting an Xyz monster on board. And the fact that it's a continuous effect instead of an activated effect means that usually, your opponent won't be able to respond to this. For our next spell, we have Raizeol Plugin, a quick play spell that lets us target one Xyz monster or Raizeol monster in our graveyard or banishment and special summon it. Then we can attach one Raizeol card from our deck to one rank 4 Xyz monster we control as material. Also, we cannot declare attacks for the rest of the turn except for with rank 4 monsters, but that really doesn't matter. Not really a lot to say here, just a good extension and recovery spell. For consistency, we have 7 Tachyon and Bonfires, and to play through hand traps, we have Caught by the Graves, Crossout Designator, Triple Tactics Talent, and we round it off with a Terraforming. For our traps, we have Imperms as well as a Gravedigger's Trap Hole for Aura of Leisure, but last but not least, we have Raizeol Hole Thruster, our other big interruption. This trap lets us target cards our opponent controls up to the number of Raizeol Xyz monsters we control to destroy them. And then we can attach a Raizeol card from our graveyard to a rank 4 Xyz monster we control, as a bonus. In addition, we can banish it from our graveyard to immediately XC summon using monsters we control, including a Raizeol monster, which can act as another interruption. Luckily, our extra deck is much more simple, mostly consisting of rank 4s. We firstly have our 7 Tachyon targets, then we have our generic rank 4 interruptions, and finally, we have our Raizeol monsters. Raizeol Duo Drive is the main searcher of the deck, allowing us to detach 2 materials from any monsters we control to add 2 Raizeol cards with different names from our deck to our hand. This allows it to search for both extension as well as interruption, making it a key piece in our combos. Our other Raizeol Xyz is Raizeol Detonator, which specifically requires Raizeol monsters to XC summon. When your opponent activates a card or effect, it has the quick effect to detach one material from it to target and destroy a card on the field, which notably is not once per turn. Along with its second effect to protect Xyz monsters we control from destruction, Detonator is just a great piece for our endboard, potentially giving us multiple interruptions in one turn. Lastly, we have Mirror Logic Aggregator, mostly here as a targeted down with EX Raizeol, which allows us to chain block, and we round off our list with Typhon and Zeus. So, Raizeol is pretty good. The deck is pretty strong overall, but what really stands out is just how much interaction it can actually play through. Between stuff like chain blocking with Aggregator, as well as the negation from Raizeol Cross, the deck has plenty of tricks up its sleeves, and basically every card being an extender doesn't hurt either. The biggest issue the deck faces at the moment is that the rank 4 pool you lock yourself into doesn't have a ton of great monsters to end on. You have the usual suspects, but the interaction they have access to is limited. Although their archetypal bosses of Dual Drive and Detonator really help to fix that problem. All in all, definitely an underrated deck that has massive potential going forward.